welcome back everyone, Toy Shiz here, and we are back yet again for a little something different, although you will probably see some resemblance to another toy line, perhaps on shelves, perhaps the one that's been around since the 80s, but forget about all that. This, in particular, is hot off the wildly successful Kickstarter by Mad Hatter and Mad Hatter Toys. And of course, I'm talking about Flippor and the Champions of Nefarity. Right there on that plain white box, which I love because you open it up and it's filled with all kinds of toyetic goodness. Wouldn't you know it? So here is Flippor, the Stealth Power variant. And I gotta say, I love the packaging on this because you don't have to rip anything, tear anything. Everything just kind of unfurls and furls back up if you want to place him back in the packaging at any time. Warning, this is not a toy, so don't try to eat any of the accessories. I knows they look delicious, but like I said, the packaging, the look, it's all very reminiscent of, let's say, Masters of the Universe. I kind of think that's what they're going for. Possibly. On the backside, yeah, I would say that's definitely what they're going for. But it's a character he created all his own, and I love the artwork right here because, let's just say, yeah, I've been here in one way or another, especially at San Diego Comic-Con. Hey, those lines aren't always easy to get those exclusives, and I'm not saying cut in line by any means, but you gotta learn how to schmooze a little bit. You gotta work the crowd, and well, you gotta come home with the exclusives. So no matter what it takes, use your stealth abilities like Flippor here. You also get to see his spring flipping action, his stealth accessories, and of course his awesome stealth powers that he will use to avoid detection. Hey, maybe this particular Flippor isn't meeting your fancy. Well, there are plenty of variants for the Flippor, the satirical lord of flipping. See, this stuff writes itself. This is very funny. It's very tongue-in-cheek, and I love it. It's my type of humor. You can even get a glow-in-the-dark Flippor or a customizer's dream. You can paint it yourself. And, of course, here is everyone involved with the creation of this figure line. So, as always, thank you very much for that. You absolutely nailed it. Everybody who's anybody in the action figure community was talking about this in the very best of ways, and I am very excited to check this out. But that's not all. Also inside the box, the dreaded Katcha, along with some other Flippor goodies. This is Flippor's little robotic cat henchman, which I'm very excited to see which one I got. Spoilers! It's the Stealth Katcha, because we're looking at the Stealth Flippor, so it all goes hand in hand. So this is going to be an absolute blast. Sit back, relax, grab yourself a nice hot cup of coffee. This is a look at the Flippor Stealth Power variant from Flippor and the Champions of Nefarity by Mad Hatter Toys. All right, so now here is everything taken out of this packaging, as well as the box, the extras, and whatnot. And as I told you, there's a lot. There's a lot to talk about, and I like that you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. But that's not all. There is a comic book. They have gone the full 9 yards with this, and it's a really well done comic book, of which it totally made me laugh. I love the FOMO parts. A lot of companies out there try to pull that nonsense, but I digress. You get a backpack, a very well sculpted backpack, and it totally works within the context of Flippor, because what's he gonna flip all his stuff into? You gotta have some sort of catching case, right? And yeah, they totally rocked that. Next up is money bags. Scrooge McDuck would definitely be proud. Not only do you get a handheld money sack, which totally works. I love that. It looks like he's like scrunching it right there. But you get the big old Mamma Jamma money sack with all the money spilling out. Because in this business, Flippor is just striking gold. I tells you what. Then you have his time scepter, which I totally dig. See, these are the types of things you got to read the comic book to get the full idea of what you're really looking at here, but it totally makes sense. Maybe altering time, bots, and make sure you get your products and whatnot. And then you have this swap out chest piece right here, which I don't know the backstory to a lot of this. A lot of it I just wanted to kind of guess, but it reminds me of maybe Targets, right? That's what I would think. And then you have his FOMO clock, which again made me laugh in the comic. It basically slows down time. It's Very well done. These are very cool accessories for this type of character. And then, of course, you have his Flippor, sort of a lacrosse catcher's mitt kind of thing, spliced with whatever that sport was in Batman Beyond, but he's flipping products, that deal. So it's all silver. It has a little bit of black paint on it. But again, it's very well done. And it's an alternate hand, so to speak, if you want to use plain hand or this. Now, this right here comes with the robot cat Katcha. And it's a little computer screen. It's very simplistic, but you get the idea. He needs to hop on the internet real quick. Maybe you want to put some stickers, like some Catcha stickers, or you want to put one on the screen right here. I think I'm going to have to go with Flippor Frank right there. I think that would be the one to put on there, just in case something happens to Mad Hatter years from now, and I could think back and go, I knew that guy. He used to make toys that looked like other toys, but he got around it somehow. But that's going to be the sticker I'm going to pick. But then you also get this red hood cape dealio. And again, like I said, I don't know the whole backstory of this. I'm going to guess that Flippor would use this to blend into Target employees to be able to go in the back stockroom. Because if you ever worn a red shirt to Target, you know exactly what happens. An old lady's going to definitely be asking you where the soap exists. Now, it's got a bendy wire, the hood is bendy, and we'll definitely slip it over Flippor and see how it looks on him. Now, this right here is very cool. This is the stealth variant of the Katcha, which totally makes me laugh. It's his little cat robot accessory. He has a little windy tail right there. Movable wheels. He can glide across any surface. And the best part, along with his really cool red ruby eyes, is that he opens up, and you can clearly see there's a lot of space in there, and you could put all of his accessories, maybe two, in there, giant money bag, and he closes up nicely. So that is very cool. Although I gotta say, with the tail, I thought he was gonna be one of those wind-up toys and get him going, and he just runs across with all of Flippor's goods. But perhaps one day, we'll say. But I love that you can close him up with all the goodies, all the cash. Again, it's fun. This is actually a very functional toy, which, if you look at Flippor, it's hilarious. You get it. He's trying to go for the Masters of the Universe, but Flippor, he's the nefarious product flipper from Target. And I love the stealth costume on him. It's just fun. This is one of those toys that brings a smile to my face. I get Mad Hatter's humor. He said it best the other day. It's the Simpsons humor, the early Simpsons humor. So that's where we totally resonate. He's got plenty of head articulation. I love the glasses. I love the face. I don't think the glasses are removable. I'm not going to try and force anything, but there are painted eyes behind the glasses, so that's really cool. You can see the chest piece right here. It is removable. I really do like both, if I'm being honest, but I love the idea, like I said, about this possibly being Target affiliated, something like that. And so I think I'll keep that one on there. The backpack just sort of slips in with two clips on his harness. It stays on really nice. No complaints there. And then you basically have Masters of the Universe Origins articulation across the board. So nothing too fancy, but it is going to match perfectly with that toy line, with that universe. Peg holes on the bottom. So yeah, in that sense, they've created quite a character to go with your Master Universe. You swap out the hands with his Flippor device right here, and that looks pretty cool. But that's not the best parts, is that if you have some really rare gems of action figures that Flippor would definitely be interested in, you can put that in his flipping device, pull down on the arm, and when you know it, it flips it right into his backpack. I can't even believe I did that on the first try. So there you go. But adding that flippable arm, having some sort of mechanism on the figure, again, really adds to the action figure, really adds to the universe it's trying to emulate and have fun with and create a new character with. It's a lot of fun. I am thoroughly impressed by this. I really am. I'm not just saying it because I know the guy, but they all did a fantastic job. And thus, with the accompanying accessories, with the robot Katcha, he just stands proudly on your shelf. If you never knew anything about this, you saw someone's Masters of the Universe collections, you saw this character in there, you wouldn't think twice. It melds beautifully. But I gotta say, this is one of my favorite looks thus far for this Flippor character with the whole red ensemble. I think that really works. And yes, because he's very much in the vein of all those He-Man Origin action figures. He will fit with all of those accessories, all of those vehicles, and it makes for some fun photography. It makes for some laughs, but in the very best of ways, because you're having fun with this action figure with all these goofy Masters of the Universe toys, and it just fits. But if you wanted to put him on Battle Cat with his flippin' goodness in hand, with his Time Scepter in hand, that rocks. The fact that the Time Scepter resembles all these old Masters of the Universe weapons and accessories, again, can't say enough nice things. But maybe I will say some negative things. No, I really can't think of much. Everything really works. But like I said, to have Flippor and He-Man go head to head, you can definitely make that happen on your shelf. And if you're wondering, as a bonus, yeah, you can pull off the limbs, except for the flippy arm, the bottom half, the legs, the heads, and you can compile your own Flippor He-Man Master Universe figure. So I think that rocks. They really thought this all out, and it is just a lot of fun. So that's going to wrap it up for my quick look at the brand new Flippor Stealth variant from Mad Hatter Toys and Flippor and the Champions of Nefarity action figure line. I cannot say enough nice things about this. This is a lot of fun. He will definitely be situated in my Masters of the Universe collection forever. And again, to point out the fact that you created a character, you saw it through to the end, you got it funded, everyone's talking about this. Well done. I am so happy for everyone involved in the creation of this figure. You really knocked it out of the park. So you've heard my thoughts, and now I'm curious to know yours. And until the next one, I will leave you guys with that. Adios.